but I mean, I do believe y'all are fine.
Excuse me, guys.
Yeah, not bad.
Okay, yeah, so this is the Caterpillar concept kind of one-off truck. So can you tell me about it?
Yeah, so it's really to showcase what a mobile office kind of would be, right? We have the technology now with KDI Assistant, Vision Link, right, that interconnect to the machines, help you manage them. Not only that, but also the job site, right? Maybe multiple sites, and that's all right here in the truck. Now, you may need other technology too, like a GPS, camera system. The whole idea was bring it all together within the truck, right? Because you have that vehicle with you on that site. So how can you view everything you can through those technology offerings? But at the same time, too, as we're building this out, we said, why don't we just kind of inspired what you see out there from fan pieces, but why not make the truck ours? So we did.
Sure. Cool. So who did? Do you know who did the custom body work and stuff like that?
All the design work actually was done by our Caterpillar Industrial Design team in-house. So they do all the design cues and elements for the machines. They pulled that forward onto all the custom body work here.
Wow.
As well as then all the graphic rep is all done by our in-house design agency as well.
Okay, so this is a Ford drivetrain in it? Or?
So it's based off of a Ford F450.
Okay.
It is not a collab with Ford. We just bought a stock truck, and that's where we were trying to outfit the technology for that mobile job site, what that would be, that idea.
Yep.
That's what we kept going with it and had that fun along the way.
Oh yeah. So this is the idea for the show here, just to kind of show the Caterpillar, like what Caterpillar could do with technology, or is this
I mean that's really the big thing we want to focus on with this, right? Is because we have that technology today that can help you manage your job site, and that's what it's all forward thinking here. Is here's your mobile office; it's all right in front of you. That'll help you manage what that work is that's going on.
Okay.
Yep.
So would it be possible to build one of these trucks?
Would it be possible to build one of them? Right now, this is it. This is the one showpiece
that's
that's going to happen, and there's no production going to happen, not for sale. Oh. It's just there to help showcase what we have. So.
Well, it's getting a lot of attention, so you guys are doing something right.
I'm glad to hear it. So.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, thank you.
Crazy. Interior based on a Ford, but lots of Cat branding in here, technology. Oh, excuse me. It's so crowded here, I can't really get too far away. So. There's a better look at what this thing looks like. Cool looking truck. Too bad it's Ford.
Alex is good. I'm not sure how good Alex is.
Can I open this back door up? Could you open that for me? Hey, could you grab that? I just can't open it with my... Could you open that back door up for me? I just want to get some film of the inside here. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know what this is.
This side is different from Sure.
This is a new release from Caterpillar. It's a stand-up skid steer, and we're just going to get told a little bit about this new machine.
Yeah. So this is Caterpillar's entry into the compact utility market. TUL 100 stands for track utility loader. 100 represents the 1,000 pound rated operated capacity that it's rated for. Comes powered with a C1.1 Caterpillar engine, turbo diesel, 24 horsepower, 18 kilowatt. We're going to offer two different configurations of width. We're going to offer a 36 inch and a 42 inch. And then we'll also offer two different style couplers, CII, which stands for Common Industry Interface, and then we'll offer a NSSL, which is a narrow skid steer loader coupler. So machine is equipped with EH technology, so the operator joysticks are EH technology that can be adjusted to suit the operator skill set. So you can adjust the joystick response to be a little bit slower if you're a novice operator. If you're a seasoned operator and like them snappy, you can adjust them to be a little bit quicker.
And that can all be done right on the display here?
It can be done right there in the display.
Okay.
And then you can see on the icons on the keypad on the right, we'll have creep control, 2-speed, continuous flow. You can adjust the aux flow going to the end of the stick. It is equipped with standard flow hydraulics, so it'll be 16 gallons a minute, 3,045 PSI for your standard flow attachments.
Okay.
And so we're really excited about bringing this machine out. We've got a large portfolio of tools that we're going to start off with when it's released in early 2027. We are actually displaying all of those tools that we'll have at first production. You can see with a grapple rake on the front of this machine, and then a power box rake here on the front of this one. And then behind me is a tree full of attachments ranging anywhere from hammers, brush cutters, augers. We've got a trencher on the other side of the display, landscape tiller, and then if you look on the back wall there, we've got a video showing the machine in action with a trencher on it and various tools.
Excellent. Well, it looks like a really versatile unit. Looking forward to seeing these things in action. So I understand that you can't show me the engine yet.
Not yet.
It's new. Okay.
We're still a little ways from production where we're going to be opening things up, but you know, Conexpo was our announcement and kind of a display of these machines. These are the first machines rolling off the production line.
Okay.
And so they are production intent, but we're going to get a little bit closer to our ship date before we start releasing things like pricing and showing the interior and stuff like that. Our official launch will be at Equip 2026.
Okay, right on. So we can look forward to seeing a little bit more of the machine at that show. I see the coolers in the back here. Is there a reversible fan for that? Or?
So the way this works is it actually sucks air in from the rear and blows it out the sides. And what that does is it keeps hot air from blowing back onto the operator. And so we're pulling the air in around them and blowing it out.
Okay.
These are small machines. They are close to the engine compartment and they can get a bit warm. So we want to make sure that we're doing everything we can to keep the operator protected and comfortable.
Makes sense. It looks like a really nice, solid machine that you guys have built.
It is. It was designed by our compact track loader engineering team, the same ones that designed the 253 and the 255 that you see sitting over there. If you look at the undercarriage, it is an actual compact track loader undercarriage. So it's just a miniature version of what we have on our 255, and so it is built to do work for sure.
Just scaled down a little bit.
Just scaled down. Yeah.
Well, really,
it's going to be a heavy-duty machine.
Really unique little machine here. So thanks a lot for telling me about it.
Thank you.
Here's a new D8 electric drive. Apparently this is the biggest electric drive dozer available from Caterpillar, and one of their marketing managers is going to be telling me about it here. So, all right, tell me about this amazing machine.
Sure. So you're sitting on a brand new D8 XE. So this is the family of the D8 dozers, right? So it comes in as a new option in the D8 family, in addition to our D8 Next Gen. This is also a Next Gen tractor, but what's different between this and the D8 is with the XE, which means our top of the line tractors in terms of performance and technology, is the electric drive powertrain. Okay, so what this is, it basically replaces your traditional torque converter and transmission, and it puts a electric drivetrain in there. So your motor, your engine, is working with a generator and driving an electric motor, right? And together with the differential steering, you get a very fuel efficient and productive tractor. So in terms of fuel efficiency compared to a traditional mechanical transmission, right, this XE will deliver up to 18% fuel efficiency compared to your power shift traditional D8, right? So it's really a top of the line offering here, bringing all the technology of the next gen dozers, right? So completely redesigned cab, better visibility, full of assist features for our operators as well, containing things like traction control, slope assist, auto carry. So a lot of assist features that will help your operator be more productive, make his life easier, and be more rested during the workday, right? In addition, new features like new safety features in this tractor as well. So you can see the monitor here. You have 3 monitors in this cab. The above monitor, the monitor above here, this will have your 360 camera now. Okay, so this is something we're bringing to all next gen dozers from Caterpillar, which helps you have that bird's eye view, right? Especially increasing safety at the job site, making sure the operator is seeing everything around the machine properly. And then of course this machine here is equipped with grade control, right? So this is something you can also bring from the factory integrated, 3D grade, right? Either having only the hardware on there with grade ready, or absolutely completely fully functioning 3D from factory as well, with the license and everything functioning. Okay.
Very nice.
So that's what's new about the D8XE. It should be coming out to market later this year.
It's going to be available. Excellent. So no mechanical connection between the engine and transmit. Like there's no mechanical connection between the engine.
So we have
and
no
drives.
more transmission, right? So your transmission becomes basically an electric system driven by the generator. What you do still have from the engine is all your hydraulics. So your hydraulic implements are still hydraulic. Those are driven by a hydraulic pump, driven by the engine.
Okay, right off the engine.
But all of your drivetrain components, meaning torque converter, transmission, are replaced by the electric system.
Awesome. So is it got a drive motor on each final drive, or is it doing like a differential steer?
So this design is an e-axle design. So it's one electric motor, one drive motor on the axle, and it's still, so your steering or your power to your final drives is still done by differential steering. So you have a differential in one motor, right? There's other designs where you have 2 motors on each side. In this case, the e-axle is 1 motor.
Okay.
Another positive thing about the electric drive as well that I forgot to mention is just the experience of the operator. There is no shifting, right? Because of the electric systems, you have instant power, right, to the ground, and also constant. There's no disruptions, there's no shifting, so there's no torque disruptions. So that's what's driving really the improvement in productivity that this tractor is bringing.
Infinitely variable.
Infinite and variable.
That's
exactly.
awesome.
You set your speed and go.
Traction control seems like a really good feature on a dozer. Like that just seems like it makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest expenses customers have, or biggest costs customers have in the life of a tractor, is the undercarriage, right? So if we can limit the excess wear, the unnecessary wear of that undercarriage, that's what we're doing here with traction control, right? So if the machine, basically how it works is, the machine sees with speed sensors that the track is slipping, it would automatically reduce the speed of that engine to avoid that track slippage, right?
Yeah.
And together we also have auto carry. So auto carry is kind of a combination of traction control with actual productivity, right? So if you're pushing a load and the tractor sees that those tracks are spinning, it will automatically raise that blade up a little bit so that you don't spin tracks, basically, right? And you can still carry that load and be productive. So this is just some of the 2D features that are standard on these tractors, next-gen tractors for the North American market.
Wow, that's a really nice feature. Yeah, excellent. Well, it's exciting seeing this new technology, and I'm really glad that you were able to take some time and tell me about it.
Awesome.
Sitting in the new Caterpillar 150 grader here. So this is a new release. There's some new changes, upgrades that have been done to the grader, and I'm with one of the representatives. He's going to tell me about it.
So absolutely. So this is the next generation platform for the 140, 150, 160. So what that provides is choice of controls for the 140 and 150. You either get steering wheel levers with the square cab, or you can have the joysticks, and then the 150, 160, 140, 150, 160 are all joysticks option as well. Plus you also, if our model monikers or our nomenclature ends in a 0, 120, 140, 150, 160, you can choose rear tandem drive or your all-wheel drive. But let's focus really on this 140, 150, 160 platform. So a lot of new stuff for these machines. So we've got a brand new front frame. So what that new front frame does is actually gives us better visibility over the top of the machine as you're looking out the front windows than on our previous generation's machines. We also have new covers. So when we look at this machine, we're all about operator comfort and accessibility for technicians. These are really a couple of the big things that we've got going on here, as well as technology and safety and things like that. So let's start a little bit. That cover over the front frame now has a split front cover way up in the front there. So what that does for technicians, if they need to get in there because their all-wheel drive valve needs to be looked at or serviced, instead of pulling off the old big metal assembly that was previous, now that is a plastic, easy to remove, so you can get in there and do service work. And then as we kind of come up here, if you have different levels of technology, we've buried some of the components underneath the front cover so that you have less chance of theft and things like that. And then as we kind of continue back here, we do have in frame fueling. So we've actually moved the fuel tank into the frame underneath the cab here, and you can see the fuel spout sitting right there. And then you have ports and accessibility underneath. If you need to get in there and do any kind of work or clean things out or drain the tank, you have that capability. What does that do? It gives us one common sump now for our fuel tank, versus previously we always had two tanks with a crossover tube. The other thing it does, it opens up underneath, so you now have accessibility to lines, hoses, other things that run along underneath that cab. And now that the fuel tank is in the frame, we've taken our front valves off the front frame and moved them underneath the cab, because that allows then accessibility for any hoses, lines, valves that you may need to service, do work to, or just even reach or access if you need to. So that kind of gets the front frame and how that's changed. So we will continue with the drawbar circle and moldboard. We are going to continue with the top adjust as the standard offering, but what we have on this particular machine is called a high performance circle. So that normally you would have shims and shoes and things you have to adjust to keep that drawbar to circle connection tight. But what we've done is we've removed all that. We now have a 320 excavator bearing in there, so that you're talking minimal movement, and all you need to do is 3 grease fittings, and that's really the maintenance you need to do. You still need to maintain your slide rails like you have historically, but now you've reduced your maintenance on your drawbar to circle connection by about 75% over a top adjust or a previous bottom adjust system. So that provides a lot of value for customers, whether they're doing grade and just reduction of maintenance overall. Then as we continue on, we'll go to the back and then we'll finish here in the cab. So in the back of the machine, it's completely new frame in the back. With that frame, we also have the ripper or tow hitch just mounts to the back bumper of the machine. We don't have any tag links, we don't have cams in that ripper system like we historically had that needed adjustment. So it's just bolted and a little easier for folks to maintain. And then when you look at the engine enclosure structure, we've cleaned up the top. We no longer have an after treatment fan over the top. We no longer have a pre-cleaner up there. So it's cleaner over the top and more accessible for people to get into things. Each of these doors on the back engine enclosure have kind of a chamfer portion connected to the door now, so you actually have, when you open that door, you have more accessibility in there. But each door is also barrel hinged, so you can open the door and you can lift it off and set it on the ground. And the plate below, the panel below that is toolless. You can just pull that up, so you actually have from frame to top of engine compartment accessibility to get in there and be able to do any type of work that you need to. So better service, better accessibility for technicians to get in there and do the work than previous. We've moved all the filters up into lines of sight, So they're easily accessible. You open the door, the filters are right there. In many cases, the filters are also rubber mounted, rubber hose mounted, so you can easily move them out of the way if you need to service anything before. Other things we've done back there is we moved the diesel exhaust fluid tank way in the back there. And the reason we did that is we don't have any def lines running over the articulation hitch anymore. And we also have plates in the back of the machine that can be removed to then be able to get in there if you need to change your diesel exhaust fluid filter, or if you have an issue, you can service it down there. And then there are shorter lines that are running up to the engine. When it comes to the engine here, we've gone to, on the 150 and 160, the 9.3B Caterpillar engine. So that provides a couple things for us. Number one, the 9.3B engine gives us, we remove the exhaust gas recirculation. So you don't have to worry about the coolers and things like that. We've gone from 3 ECMs down to 1 ECM, and then we also have a compact clean emissions module, CEM. That DPF in that compact clean emissions module is now fit for life of the engine, so no longer needing to have a 5,000 hour service of the DPF like we historically have had in the previous. So it's a simpler engine. We also gotten rid of on that engine that after treatment regeneration device, that ARD head or that burner system, and a much simpler design, so you don't have to worry about maintaining that ARD head as well. And then other things we've done is we moved the transmission filter up into the technician's line of sight when they open that back corner door, and we have the engine oil filter right there. So as you open each of these doors in the back, they're going to have the filters right there, easily accessible. In this first door, we're going to have the fuel filters. The further one back will be the hydraulic oil tank, the hydraulic sight gauge, oil sight gauge, as well as the hydraulic oil filter. And if you have an all-wheel drive machine, you'll have your all-wheel drive filter in that location, as well as a new master disconnect. You go around to the other side of the machine, and you have the transmission filter, transmission ECM, the batteries, and also you have the engine oil filter. And then as you come forward here, you have a simpler, more accessibility in this front door on the right side of the machine, and that gives you access to your compressor, to your starter, to your alternator, etc. And then there's a new toolbox that's on the tandem box, and that allows you also a step to get up, because now let's move to the cab. We have a new HVAC system, heating, ventilation, air conditioning system, that we've moved on top of the cab, and we have the fresh air filter out the back corner of the cab. Plus you'll see in here we have all the air ducts in the cab or coming down the pillars for accessibility, but the idea is it showers air down onto the operator in the summer when it's hot, and then you close some of the vents up top and you force air down to keep the windows clear and keep the operator warm on that. You'll also see on this machine, in this cab, visibility. Out the back corners of the cab, we've moved what's called the C-pillar back behind the operator. So now you got a piece of glass, a little blue seam, and a piece of glass, so you have unparalleled visibility out the side and back corners. An operator doesn't have to worry about looking around that big pillar that like they did previous cabs.
Very nice.
You can either have wipers or no sliding side windows, or you do have optional sliding side windows that can be, you know, from fresh air, things like that. So you can make those choices. Then when it comes to other things inside the cab, we've got the next generation seats, and what we've done in that is more comfortable. And then anything that is a yellow control on these is something the operator can move or make an adjustment, whether it's the backrest, whether it's the slide, whether it's the thigh support, or the damper or air suspension. But they're easily accessible and they're yellow, so you know what you're looking at.
Excellent.
And then you basically keep going forward here. We've kind of moved some controls onto this B pillar here, allowing you to have your heating, ventilation, air conditioning, which is also an automatic climate control. We got your radio next with a little ledge to steady your hand because you're making adjustments typically on the go. You want to make your adjustment and not have your hand bouncing around. We've also moved, if equipped, you'd have the all-wheel drive switches right underneath those rocker switches that you see, and you also have your Bluetooth mic. And then as you move down, you have these sealed switch pods, Your top one are things you probably as an operator aren't using as often. The next one in the middle there is all your lights, beacon lights, things like that. And then the lower one are auto throttle or electronic throttle lock, auto diff lock, auto articulation if equipped, things like that you'd see. And then you go down further and you have very similar controls that you're used to on the joysticks and the auxiliary pods and what you have historically.
Excellent.
And then you keep going to the front here. We have done things such as if you're in snow country, this front piece of glass is now flush mounted rather than recessed. You don't have to worry about snow building up in there, and it'll shed off the front. We got little cubby holes kind of all over the place and more storage. And then we've kind of cleaned up our front dash. So we've moved our rear vision camera into the main machine display because operators have said, hey, I want to look from one side across the dash to the other side, and I don't really want to be looking up to see what's going on behind me. So you can have your camera in your main machine display. And then we've also, if equipped with Grade 3D, you have a better layout of your grade display, your TD 540 in this case. You have your main machine display and your TD 540 accessibility there. You don't have to worry about, as an operator, hitting your knees on it, things like that. You got a quick release here on the side. Then we got a nice little thing down here. We got a little punch plate. Operators, if they're working any slope work or working ditches or anything, they can put their foot up there and kind of hold themselves into place and not fall around. Or if they just need to stretch their leg, it's a great place to stretch the leg out. Then we have the doors. So the doors are completely redesigned. There's more structure to them. They don't fly in the wind quite as easily as they once did. They're easily released, and they're more solid than the previous doors. And also little things like the wiper swipe. The wiper starts at the top, it's parked vertical, it goes down all the way through the operator's line of sight and then back up through their line of sight, where our previous cab would actually park water, snow, ice on, and then it would run down in front of the operator until it would swipe up again. So we've done a lot of little things to address a lot of the customers and operators things, because comfortable operators more productive, and then if you can get the technician in to be able to do service work, they're getting these machines up and going faster. Oh, one little thing in the service thing, I know I'm late here. We got 2 drain holes in the tandem boxes. Number of customers I talk to, and they don't have the tandem on a level, and they don't get all the oil out of the tandem boxes. Now with 2 drain holes, it drains faster and can drain it all out. So lots of little things to help the customers out, reduce costs, and improve operator and technician capabilities.
That means a lot to me as a technician. Like, it's funny that you guys put a swing bearing in the circle, because I asked a product representative from my local dealer about that several years ago, and either of us could really figure out why. He's a technician as well, and thought, yeah, that's a good idea. So that's really fascinating that you guys actually did that. And that was one of the things I noticed is the pads welded shut on the circle there. So that's a really big upgrade, and I love everything that you guys have done about this. It's like, yeah, you've refined this machine a lot with just simple things, but it's very important changes.
Absolutely. We can't do this without our customers telling us, hey, what do you need? So talk to your local dealer or get a hold of somebody. We're always listening and looking for ways to improve, to make life easier for you all as customers.
Yep, and you know what? That's so important for a company, and even on the dealership level, the people that are selling your product are really professional, and that's why the ergonomics and the Caterpillar machines is second to none. Like, they just work.
Absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Thanks so much for your time and explaining this new beautiful piece of equipment.
Appreciate your time. Thank you.
Pretty windy out, so I'm just going to do a walk around here and open the doors and show you guys what was being explained there. So you got your filters and everything right here, removable panels. Okay, so look in the back hatch here. Tandem drives are very similar. Transmission filter, there's your air filter. So some of this stuff has changed. There's your def tank there that he was explaining about. So the ripper mounting has been upgraded. All in all, really good changes on this unit. Okay, so you got drains still just like the M series, very similar. Battery access is good, filters. Open up this door. Yeah, here we go. So the burner, it looks way easier to get apart. That's definitely an upgrade. Less emissions control. Do a valve set on this engine wouldn't take nearly as long as the previous M series. Back of the cab, you can see the visibility, the change in the windows, and then you got some grade control stuff up there underneath the cab. So it looks like it's pretty accessible, even though we got a lot of valving underneath here. These panels look like they come off pretty quickly. Let's go take a look at the circle here. All right, so here's our swing bearing. I'm sure that this lasts a long time in this application, because you think a swing machine is probably going to be 20,000 hours going back and forth. On a grader, you're not going to have that amount of wear on the bearing, or movement on the bearing, I should say. And you got your yoke bar, some of the valving on the front here, or the shielding on the front that he was talking about.
Is really what makes that thing sing though. You just saw Red expel his material. He didn't need the help of a support machine. He lays out one nice layer of material. He can spread that material going forwards or going backwards, and you can increase your cycle times by 30 to 40 seconds. Fantastic opportunity, and that allows that truck to have a lower center of gravity, being a little safer, and you can work in scenarios where you have low overhead.
Folks, taking care of your operators is really key to us. So let's talk more about that 980XE working out in front of there. Let's talk some technology features along with some assist features helping your operators throughout their day. This machine comes with standard payload, so it has on-the-go way to provide your operator ultimate information right at their fingertips. They don't have to worry about overloading or unloading. And also you can put that up to the advanced payload. It allows your operators to actually track multiple types of material. They can switch between truck loading, load and carry, several different features out there. And folks will have multiple assist features. These assist features are out there to complement your operator and what they're doing in the cab. It's not meant to replace them.
Yeah, you're right, my friend. Without the operator in the cab, they're just beautiful yellow pieces of iron. But we've got some of the world's best operators in here right now. But let's talk about that 730 one more time. As I mentioned, lower center of gravity, helping keep that machine on its tires, where it does a lot more work when it's upright. It also has a feature that we call stability assist. And basically, it's a system that continually monitors the ground angle of both the tractor and the trailer. It'll give that operator some sort of warning and lets them know that there could be a scenario where things aren't going to go so well. It can even go one step farther and pause the hoisting of your traditional dump bag. As you can see, Red can actually dump in a pile just like the traditional truck as well. Fantastic opportunity. These ejector trucks, they work phenomenal for our customers, keeping them productive regardless of the terrain. But you know what, Marty? I think it's time to talk about some Caterpillar excavators.
You know that's right, folks. Let's focus your attention right here as these next generation excavators make their way to the top of the berm. Come on, make some noise for them. Wave at them. Let's go.
I tell you what, that is some pretty fine dancing, but don't worry, they're going to show you what they call a Conexpo jig here in just a second. All right, we've got our 325 and 336 up there. Again, looking pretty as a peach up there. Let's hone in on that 336, which is the one on the left-hand side. That machine is a perfect size class. It works out so well. It's a big machine, but also small enough to fit in areas that it needs to fit in. That machine, with that amazing hydraulic system, works out so well in mass excavation, truck loading, any heavy material handling situation. Also, we're talking about all the things that machine has, but it's got something that it doesn't have that makes it valuable to you, the customer. And that is what we call Cat 3D Ready. And that means it doesn't have CAT grade 3D, but it has all the hardware and the wiring harnesses. All you have to do is reach out to your dealer and add that subscription, and then you are full CAT 3D ready. That machine grows with your business, and you can add that full CAT 3D ready at any point in time. Also, we're gonna see something here pretty quick. When he goes to load this truck here, one thing I want to talk about, we've got a company or group in Caterpillar called Equipment Training Solutions, and this group does a fantastic job. And one thing they always teach is the loading tool is the boss in a scenario like this. So whether it's a wheel loader or an excavator, that loading tool is the boss. And that requires him to have excellent communication with that 730. So how does he do that? Well, he's gonna honk his horn. And now we've added a little feature. You saw those lights flash, so that gives you an audible and a visual indicator for that truck to stop. If you've ever loaded trucks and they don't stop when you want them to stop, it decreases production, and it's obviously not a safe scenario. Over on that left-hand side, we've got our 325, and you know what, Marty? I know you got one of your favorite vehicles out there. You've got that 980. Why don't you walk us through that, my friend?
You bet, Chad. That 980XE has multiple features out there. You got Mr. Curtis Nixon out there showing off out there, but you know, we've talked about payload. This machine has that payload system on there, has multiple features as well. And guys, girls, this machine's nice and easy to operate. As I said, low effort joystick control. And I'm gonna pause for just a second because I really love watching these excavators come off the bench. Our guys do a really nice job. Don't try this at home, folks. These guys are trained professionals, but look how smooth that machine comes off of there. Now, as he starts to come off of that bench, Brian, I'm gonna shift it back over to you on that 336. Tell us a little bit about the payload system you used in loading that 730.
Yeah, Marty, I'm out here in this 336, so payload. Kiki talked a little bit on the wheel loader on that. This excavator has that same thing. So as I'm sitting here loading this truck, pretty much I can put a target in here. So that target, 30 ton, then actually, for each bucket, it's going to count that down. It's going to add the total of my payload to what I'm looking for. And then eventually, once I get close to that target, I can either meter off the material, do a little tip off to get to the right payload. And then eventually, once I do that, I can set these buttons up here on this joystick, and then I can store that truck. So what that does for me and the customers here, it pretty much goes to Vision Link. So once it's stored, they can see all that through Vision Link. They can see exactly how much material this machine had moved all day. You can see the fuel burn that you got all day also, Marty. So that's a little bit about the payload systems.
That's awesome, Brian. And folks, in addition to that payload system, this 336 and that 325, actually all of the CAT excavators also has multiple technologies from a grade standpoint. And we have grade assist, grade 2D, grade 3D, and folks to learn more, go see Mr. Scott Hagman, Alex Lambert in the Performance Center. They're going to teach you a lot more about this great technology. But Chad, I think that 325 made its way out there front and center, buddy.
Yeah, you bet. We're excited to showcase our 325. This is Caterpillar's next-gen compact radius excavator. Cat has a full lineup of compact radius machines, from a mini excavator all the way up to our 335, and we've got a 319 out here in static display. Go talk to Brian Stelbrink about that machine. Fantastic opportunity, keeping our customers working even in tight conditions like a CR machine is needed. But let's get back to this 325. Not only is that a compact radius machine, it has a heavy-duty undercarriage. Allows for enhanced lifting and stability. Also, you might notice we've got a blade on there. That's a great opportunity, keeping him stable, gives him a little more lifting capability as well. He can drop that blade down and use it as an outrigger. And that machine has a 60,000-pound counterweight. You put all that together, and while that looks like a smaller machine, it has a ton of capability. And on top of all of that, it's got a VA boom. That's a variable angle boom. You see Will adjusting it right now. And basically, that means that the operator can reconfigure the geometry on the fly. Helps for improved lifting. He can work up closer to the machine. That D8 boom compact radius and that dozer blade, that machine's as versatile as it gets, Marty.
That's a fact, buddy. Now, folks, this machine also has some great safety features as well. 360-degree camera system providing your operator excellent visibility. Using that compact radius, we've also put in there for safety, we put ground level inspection points now, keeping your service technicians or operators on the ground where they're safe, not having to climb all over that machine. This machine also has another form of technology called people detection. It accurately distinguishes between people, surrounding objects, even when they're stationary. It delivers that visual and audible alert to the operator through the in-cab display. Again, alerting that operator, making sure that they know exactly where everything is around that machine itself.
Obviously, better visibility to the job site, keeping production high. These machines are moving a lot of material, and a lot of that on that D3, it's due to the two planetary gear reduction. It increases torque to the drive wheels, allows that machine to push much bigger loads. On top of that, that D3, it comes available with two different undercarriages. Depending on your application, you pick that right undercarriage and that machine is going to give you a very long life. We've got a sealed and lubricated track or the abrasion undercarriage. And each one of these has a mainframe that has improved durability as well. The integrated mainframe and track roller frame increases the overall structural integrity. It's a little dozer for Caterpillar standards, but that does a lot of big work. But don't take my word for it. Let's talk to Daniel Rodriguez. He's one of our demonstrator instructors from Tanaha Hills. Daniel, tell me about that D3, my friend.
Yeah, Chad, I want to talk about how comfortable the cab is in this D3. I have a air adjustable seat. I can adjust that to the proper height so my legs are reaching the pedals, and also I'm going to adjust my armrest so I can be nice and comfortable all day long. And then also we have nice features with heated and ventilated seats. So on those cold days it'll be nice and warm, and then on those summer days we stay nice and cool. Another nice touch is we have heated joysticks so you can keep your hands nice and warm also. And then for safety, we have a real nice backup camera, so I can have a high definition camera or a display in the cab so I can see everything behind me. I know it's safe to back up. You can see we're working in this pretty tight arena here. I know that I'm not going to back up in anything. And then on the production side, we also have slope assist. So what slope assist does is it gives you a digital readout of the dash, tells you what slope you're sitting on for your main fall and your cross slope.